Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Love and Everything in Between podcast. Today we're going to talk about
Purpose in marriage.
purpose in marriage. Taking two different people with two different backgrounds, two
And two
different
different ideas of
purpose,
yeah.
and then trying to merge that together into one. Yeah.
How do you manage it? How do you cope? And how do you make compromises to hit the same goal and purpose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, see you soon. Okay, so welcome back. First thing, as a couple,
Yeah.
do you think that people need to have the same purpose?
So that's kind of tricky, depending on what each individual's purpose is or what their plan is. Because I feel like each individual is an entity on their own. So now, if you're coming together, so now, say, give an example, um, what your wife's purpose is doesn't even align with what the husband's purpose is. Like, how do you now merge that? So I feel like sometimes you could have general same goals. If you have spouses that are in two different career fields, I don't see how easy it will be to merge. So that's why I said it depends on what each individual's purpose is. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Okay, I get the career thing, but I'm not sure that career and purpose necessarily equate to the same thing.
Okay.
So you can have a purpose, but you can pursue that purpose through, different ways.
Okay.
That's,
Give me an
I don't know,
example.
maybe it's just the way I see it. So I'm thinking, okay, if my purpose, for example, is to save the children, I'm just using that as an example, or get children educated. I want children to be educated. I can do that as a teacher. I can do it as, like, I don't know, like an advocate of something. I can go to Congress and go or the Senate and go and fight for education rights and an increase to the education bill
Okay.
or budget or whatever. I don't know.
I
I
hear
just
you.
feel like
I hear you, but like I said, if you are not a teacher and you have you are in the, let me say, what sector? Oil and gas sector. You are an engineer, right? So now, how do you now merge that? Because does that mean you are going to drop that your work career, or is that going to be like a pet project that you would do to run alongside your career? Because most times, don't forget that in as much as you want to fulfill that purpose, do you now decide to do it on as yourself as an individual or hire someone? I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So like now you're an engineer, you work on a rig, you have this 1 month on, 1 month off, and you have this purpose to save the children, like you said, for example. How do you merge that? Because you still have your personal marriage life, raising your own kids, having to have time, like the balance, as in how do you balance it is what I'm saying. I think for me, where I would come from when it comes to couples that have two different purpose-driven goals, would be maybe find a middle ground, sort of, where both of you can compromise. So, say for example, but this example just seems like you are still in the same field, where if one person is into storytelling, the other person is into fashion, there's a way you can merge both purposes, like to make it work as one.
and that's because that
It's
is
it's
still
it's,
it's
in, it's
similar.
in,
But
yeah,
what
similar.
happens when it's not similar? Because it's actually quite rare for you to find two individuals
With the
who
same
have
goal.
those goals that align so closely.
So I feel if it's not the same, I feel if you don't have the same purposes or goals, I think what can happen would be you have to pick an interest. So say you have a spouse that likes watching football. I don't know if this would really apply. You have a spouse that, so I know wives around the world will say, oh, when it's championship time, you have to be very sensitive about your husband's club and all of that. That's because probably the spouse has found a way to build an interest in what the husband loves. So if there's a purpose that one spouse has, I think just find a way to build an interest in it and see what little way you can chip in. So it becomes a joint thing you guys get to do together, to experience together. So, okay, say now, like for you, you love to travel, go and experience. When you travel, you like to experience the country. I, on the other hand, I want to just go, it's vacation, I want to lie down and sleep. But you understand, we found a way to like make a balance. Okay, you know what, space out the vacation. The first 2 days, we do intense activity. The third day, you get to sleep, or the first day, you sleep. Then 2 days, we do an activity together, so that way we try to make it wholeful.
Yeah, so basically, it's just compromise, really.
It's compromise, actually. Yeah.
Okay, it's compromise. Well, how do you ensure that you don't lose yourself? Because my concern with that is when we're talking about interests, or we're talking about hobbies, or we're talking about even careers, I think it's easier to sort of compromise on. Because those are things that you can say, oh, okay, I'll just dedicate a bit of time to this particular thing, or I'll just develop an interest in it. But what happens when it is like clearly purpose? Like what I want to do is I want to move to Afghanistan and end the war in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And then somebody else says, no, my purpose in life is to make millions of dollars. And
so you see the solution to that. You see the solution to that. When I make the $1 million, I'll fund your Afghanistan trip.
That's very
compromise now.
That's very one way. So I think fundamentally in my head, if you're still single, do not align yourself with someone whose purpose is too different from yours and is something you actually don't share. Do you understand? I think it's a recipe for a lot of conflict.
If you don't share it.
Yes, if it's not something you share, if it's not something that you have a heart for, you're passionate about, then don't get into it in the first place. Because I think part of being married is working together as a team.
Yes.
Right? And if you're going to work together as a team, it's important that both of you have pretty much the same goals. Now, if you jump into something where one person is pulling in this direction and the other person is pulling in the other direction, it's going to be one of two things. It's either one person is going to have to let go of their thing so that this other person can achieve
my question,
or you're going to just have conflict, or things are just going to fall apart. But that is obviously if you're still in the single, you're searching, or you're in the dating category or whatever. That's on one hand. But I mean, if you're already in it, but sorry, let me take your question first, Fight.
No, finish.
If you're already in it, then honestly, it's just going to be a case of sacrifice. So you guys are going to have to get to a point where you say, okay, you know what's going to happen.
You table it.
Yeah, I'm going to. So I read somewhere about the Obamas, about how Michelle wanted to do certain things, but Barack at that point in time wanted to do, politics and all that. So basically, she just
had to drop everything.
Had to put her needs aside for years to help him achieve what it is he wanted to achieve. And then when he had achieved what he wanted to achieve,
she was able to face.
He now had to turn around and then support her. I mean, there's that compromise to make, but it's not an easy compromise to make. It's not something that's, because purpose goes beyond just something you're interested in. It goes beyond the career you're doing, the hobby or whatever. It's something that's like a life calling for you, something that drives you, the thing that makes you wake up every morning and go out into the world, And if you can't do that, you begin to
regress.
Yes, you begin to die a little bit inside every day. You might even get to a point where you're just resenting the other person.
Because you're not able to achieve what you wanted to do.
You're happy, you're getting what it is that you want done, but I can't
fulfill my own purpose.
So it becomes a huge problem.
So the question I wanted to ask was, so are you saying that purpose is enough reason not to commit to a relationship that would lead to marriage?
I think it's one of the major things that you should talk about. I honestly think it's
Okay.
one of the very major things. So some people say, oh, you know what, my purpose in life is to raise a family. But it could be a man, it could be a woman. I mean, I have a friend who's like a dad. That's he enjoys it, he loves it. He's at home with his kid, he's cooking, he's clean, he's happy with it. His wife is a career person.
Okay.
She wants to, build a career. She wants to make
an
money.
empire.
She wants to build an empire, basically. And they've been able to make it work because their purposes pretty much align. He wants to raise a family. She wants to build an empire, have somebody that is going to be available. Do you understand?
Okay.
So it works. But imagine she wants to build the empire, he wants to build the empire, and their empires are totally separate.
But you have couples like that, and they've been able to manage it.
I'm not saying they won't be able to manage it, but I'm just saying that there's a lot of sacrifice involved
that has to go in
try to manage that.
So which I feel like at the end of the day, even if it's not going to be in purpose, there's always still a sacrifice thing that you would make in marriage.
Yes, but
so it's just picking.
Yes,
but I think it's picking which sacrifice, because now give your example. Michelle dropping everything to push Obama's career. What if Obama's career didn't pull through and he didn't become the president? With the years of grooming him as a senator and all of that, yes.
So just imagine now, he didn't achieve his goals and he was still trying to achieve them.
Till now?
Yes.
So, and she has sacrificed.
So imagine how much longer she will be sacrificing.
No, the sacrifice should have paused.
That's my point.
She will pause because, no.
That's exactly my point. So my point is, I'm not saying that it is the only reason why you should marry or not marry, but I'm saying it is a major reason why you it's a major consideration that you need to look at. It's something that you need to take into serious consideration to be able to be sure, because it's easy to say, oh, I'm going to leave this thing and let you chase your dreams, or you're going to leave yours, but imagine you have two alphas.
So now, coming back to us, have we had at any point in time, because I know that at some point in time when we both met, we're both very alpha, because you were running your record label and I was doing my whole makeup, and then I wanted to move into film and TV for makeup. So I remember that early stage, it was quite tasking for me because my hours were crazy. It wasn't something I was used to. It wasn't something that I was prepared for mentally, and it affected the relationship.
Okay,
so remember that at a point you kept saying like, oh, we used to hang out, we used to go on dates, that now when we go to cinema, I'm passed out sleeping because I'm just looking at that. This is the only time I've been able to sit down and not do anything, and I want to sleep, but I need to be present and available. So now, how did we manage it? Because I had to get past
that. So first of all, I don't think we're the ideal case study for people whose purposes don't align. Because to a large extent, we pretty much all our lives have sort of worked within
the same field.
If we're not in the same industry, they're pretty adjacent.
Yeah, to each other. Yeah.
That's on one hand.
Okay.
But you see, in that
regard,
in that time,
in
that phase of our relationship, why it was able to work was because it's always been some kind of ebb and flow for us, where it's either something is not really working out for me at that point in time, and you're doing your thing, or something is not really working out for you at that point in time, and then I'm doing my thing. So it's been able to work for us primarily because of that, right? So yes, I was doing the record label thing and all that, and you were doing, but we're not married.
Yeah, we're not married
exactly.
At the time.
When we did marry, and we tried to, run in two different directions, that was where the strain started. That's where we started having all these issues. About, oh, you're not spending enough time. Oh, why are you always doing this?
You come
put
back
this
home
above
late.
me.
Yeah.
I mean, we had Tenny, and then was it Tenny?
It was Tenny.
Yeah, it was Tenny, and you were working like from 6 a.m. to like God knows what, and then I had to be daddy.
Yeah.
And
so
I didn't even want to be daddy in the first place.
So you had to sacrifice.
It was pretty much sacrifice for me.
Okay.
And I mean, it took a lot. it honestly took a lot. It also taught me a lot about, just bending over backwards. But I also did it because I felt like you would do the same for me. And when the tables turned and I had to, pursue this thing, you were able to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to leave my job. I'm going to stay at home. I'm going to be behind you. I'm going to support you. It's not easy. I'm sure it wasn't easy for you at that point in time. Exactly. And it wasn't easy for me either. But, and also because we've always been that couple that we say, oh, what do you want to do? We had the conversation even before we got married. What do you want to do? How am I going to be able to support you? How can I help you become the best version of yourself?
Yes.
You get. Now, if we didn't have that conversation or we didn't have that commitment to do that for each other, I do not think that we would have survived it.
Possibly.
And note, like I keep saying, this is still people who are still within the same
field. Because I was just going to say that, what
sphere.
if...
So imagine we're completely different.
So what if for a couple, even if you say, oh, like you said, we both...
And note, this is just career we're talking about. I've not even really gone into the purpose of your heart.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying. So what if someone in both spouses can't leave because at the end of the day, bills have to be paid, expectations have to be met, raising a family. So it's easy to say, it's not easy to say actually that one person left what they were doing just so, because now, outside of that, there's this new thing of, oh, what are you bringing to the table? So, and like...
but everybody should be bringing something.
Yes, everyone should be bringing something. Okay, so now you want to chase your own purpose and career, and then this person has to step back. At that point in time, are you going to turn back and say, what are you bringing to the table? I'm bringing my time.
Exactly. That stepping back might be what you're bringing to the
table. Okay.
That's stepping back to support. That's stepping back to stay home. That stepping back to say, okay, in this season, I want to help you achieve what it is that you want to achieve. That's part of it. But I honestly just think it's easier if people just, from the get-go,
talk about it.
Yeah.
Do
our purposes align? Do our goals align? These things that we want to achieve in life. Because when I've heard this said so many times, and I've actually read a survey about it, about how when you talk to older people, they rarely talk about, oh, I wish I made more money, or I wish it was always, I wish I had done more. I wish I was braver. I wish I stepped out more. I wish I just took that risk. And everybody has that burning inside of them to a very large extent, where they want to just achieve the things that they feel that they're put on the earth to do. And when you don't get to fulfill that, you become
void. You feel like there's a void that hasn't been filled.
Yes, and so that's is why I think that it is important to, have the right foundation in place. For example, if we look at raising children.
Okay.
So children are born not just because, just because you want to just have another child or you just want to have a child. There's usually, a purpose for why you want to have a child, and there's usually a particular way you believe
the child should
be raised, and some people even try to live
vicariously through their children.
There are people who give birth to children just because, I didn't get to be a doctor, and I want to have somebody in my family who's going to be a doctor.
Yes, I was one of those children. Exactly. My father wanted me to be an engineer, petroleum engineering, elect, but look at me now, producer. Yes.
But so if we now look at that, for example, and we say, okay, the purpose of having children, it might differ.
Yes, it will, because I think for me, I never thought it through. I just felt, okay, I'll get married, have kids will grow, I'll raise them, and then they will go. I was never one to do the vision board to see, okay, at this point in my life, this is what I should have achieved, and then the next point, so I didn't have that. I just winged life, just coming. I think I'll figure it out as we go. But in hindsight now, I understand the importance of having the vision, knowing fully well what you want for your kids. Sometimes it might not turn out that way because at the end of the day, children come out, you don't know what you're gonna get. You don't know what they're gonna pick from you, because children always pick stuff from both parents. But I think merging it is when, after nurturing the child to a certain point, you kind of start knowing, okay, which way this child is tilting towards, and then I think you just either put them
Okay,
on
so
the right track.
so here's the thing.
That's
So,
what I think.
yes, but here's the thing. So you believe that that is how children should be raised, maybe now,
Yes.
but that is your belief. What if I believe that children are just there for me to imprint what it is that I believe on them, and they should go and do it? So you're thinking, oh, just guide them lightly, along the line. Just, don't let them fall off the path. But me, I'm like, no, this is the road and you must walk it. Do you get what I mean?
So maybe
So
because
imagine the amount
maybe
of
because
conflict.
I'm a graduate of that WhatsApp group. They try to push me to go. I did not turn out that
No,
way.
but
So maybe based on my experience and what I've seen in life from friends and all of that, I think I've picked
So that's
the ways.
I-
So now
I-
compromising with my spouse now would be okay. There's the spare the rod, spoil the child, and then can we find a
no,
balance?
but I'm not even talking about sparing the road. That's what I'm trying to say.
That this is
I'm
the
saying
way. You are
this is
forcing
the
you
way,
with law.
walk in it. That's it. There's no. Do you understand what I mean? So I'm saying that's in that kind of situation now, you start having lots of friction.
Conflicts, yes,
You
friction.
start so imagine both of them had sat down beforehand and said, "Guy, these children that we're going to born are not just born children because just feel like we want to just have children. How do you what do you see?
How do you want to
What
raise
do
your
you
child?
see? How do you understand what I mean?
But sometimes
So
the
that
talk is
that
cheap.
is why
Sometimes talk is cheap. Some people have the conversation, and then when the
the
reality comes in, you forget what you've spoken about, and then you are reacting based on what's happening, the situation that's happening in front of you. So sometimes, yes, it's good to have the conversations, but I feel like, okay, take you and me for example. In as much as I say I was the graduate of I need you to go like this, and I went like this, I still had the fundamental belief that I need to spank, not talk to the child. My word is law and it's final. You don't have to question me. But I later realized along the way that, okay, truly, truly, this child I have given birth to, his mind would always question. His mind. So it took me rebooting and realigning myself to know that, okay,
so are you saying so the question is we had a lot of conflict there.
yes, we had, because you would be
I
like,
would
oh,
just have a conversation.
and then you even
I'll
no,
say,
no, you don't even say just have a question.
And then sometimes
You will not let me talk to him. You will say it's only you that can talk to him.
That's not what that's
I'm
not,
just saying that part.
That's how you read it.
No, that's not how I read it.
It's okay.
What I want to talk, you say, no, I can have a conversation.
Oh God, I mean we had camera to replace some of those things, but let's let it go. So here's the thing. What I'm actually getting at there is you eventually got to the point where you realized, okay. Do you remember I would say things like, you just say, oh, come, smile. Or this auntie's hair.
He was a baby now.
Well, I would say he's not a monkey, he's not a performing, he's not a toy. It's not a toy. You just want him on command, smile. On command, be cute. On command. Like, do you get what I mean? Now
That's not in line with the
no, it
child.
is. I'm just saying, it's not in line with what child?
The raising
You can raise a child. So my point is, okay, so it took you a while to eventually get to the point where you realize that, okay, this one, if I like, I can break his head. It's not going to change the fact that he's curious, right?
Yes.
Or the second,
or that he would always question.
Or the second one is completely different. My thing is, you were able to get to the point where you realize that, okay, what I'm saying it's not that crazy after all. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
But it took
time and years, yeah.
But I still feel like the fundamental foundation of that was the fact that we had conversations about it.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean? We had conversations. These are the kind of children we want to raise. This is how I believe.
Raising,
you understand?
For example, getting that result would be.
I did not want child. Period. You wanted child. Then how are we now able to get? Do you understand what I mean? Do you get what I mean? Like, we now got to a point where it was now like, okay, let's discuss this child thing.
Are we
And
going to
this
leave
thing.
this? I did not want child matter. Can we? It's
No,
14 years old. 14.
what? It's not personal. I'm just
And
using
I'm
this
just telling you
the
to.
topic. The
Okay. Oh
topic.
yeah.
Let's
Continue.
because
Continue.
I feel like because we have been able to do it successfully to a large extent, it's important to also let other people know how we were able to do it.
Okay.
Right. And it's also important to hear from other people. So please, if you have comments, if you have
Ideas.
advice, even for us as well, on how you were able to achieve this balance, please share with us in the comments. It's very, very important. But for us, what we were able to do was,
Okay.
one, at the beginning, we had those conversations.
Yes.
And those conversations helped
We
because
even had the good cop, bad cop conversation.
Exactly.
Who's going to be the good cop?
exactly,
Who's
we
going
had
to
the
be bad cop?
conversation about, okay, in front of the kids,
Keep a unified.
it's a unified front,
decision. Yeah.
regardless of how much we want to break each other's heads. We're unified. And when we get into the room, we can murder ourselves. But in front of them, the word is bond. You
Yeah.
get what I mean? So, and that's just about children. There's so many other areas.
yes,
There's
yeah.
so many other things that are involved in this. And I still feel like the fundamental foundation is
Would be to talk about
conversation.
it, yeah.
Now, if you had the conversation at the beginning, yay, great, amazing. If you're single, have the conversation. If
Yeah.
you're married and even if you've been married for 10 years,
You can- it's never too
I think
late.
it's never too late. Sit down, have a conversation, because the truth of the matter is, until each person is able to see
Where
the other person's
yeah.
Point of view and where they are coming from,
You'd be
you
able
can't
to
even start talking about
about it,
compromise.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't talk about compromise when you don't even
know
understand
what the person, yeah.
what this person is trying
Thinking
to
about,
do
yeah.
or say. Do
Yeah.
you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, I think that is really how you align purpose. Be ready to sacrifice.
Compromise.
Be ready to have the conversations, the real conversations, and they need to be honest. They need to be authentic. It's not I just want to do it because I want to do it. No, why?
Why do you want to
You
do
know.
it? And then what's your time frame?
Find a way to make your whys align, because everybody has their
The why, yeah.
You know why you're alive. You know why you behave the way you do. You know why some things are important to you. So, I mean, communication is
very key.
Primarily
Very, very, very key.
the best way to solve that, and a willingness to actually listen and sacrifice.
Okay, so I hope we've been able to actually
Share some
stuff
of our
that
insights.
would make sense and would be useful to you guys.
And
So
remember, we don't know it all. We're still going through it ourselves. So everything we're doing is still like a work in progress, and it would be amazing to
hear your thoughts and connect with you guys.
each and every one of you. We've come to the end of the conversation. Stay tuned for the games.
Yes, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So we'll see you on the next episode of
Love and Everything in Between
Podcasts.
Take care.
Bye. Hi everyone, and welcome to another segment.
Keep going. I'm giving you background, like soundtrack.
I don't need it. Please. Shh. So yeah, welcome to another episode of Love. Another what? Another
Game.
banger.
Game.
Another game
Another
segment.
game.
Yes.
Game.
So
Challenge. Game. Okay.
Today's game is we flip the bottle. Whoever's bottle lands straight, leave the paper.
I'm trying to picture it straight.
Whoever's bottle lands straight gets a turn to do X and O. So which one are you, X and O? Chromosome X, you are O.
X chromosome. Y. Is it X, Y? Is it X, X, X?
Oh, Tembo.
Whatever, man. Like, yeah.
Okay,
So let's do this. Let's do this. We're wasting too much time. I don't have time. I don't talk too much. Just make it happen. Let's do this. All right. Who's counting us down? Who's counting us down?
3, 2, 1. Point.
Why are we pausing?
Ay, ay, ay.
So we're starting again, are we?
No, we'll pick up now.
You can't pick up from here. The lights will have been flickering.
No.
It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine.
Nope.
It's okay. It's okay. Please, let's action.
Nope.
It's okay.
Alright, go on camera.
Ladies and
This bastard
gentlemen.
is going to put it in edit.
No, no, no.
Okay.
Ladies,
You need to say it to that.
no, it's fine. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, don't worry. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another challenge. Due to irregularities in the last one, we are by popular demand.
It was the light
By
flickering.
popular demand, we are going to start this game again from scratch. You can quickly watch the replay in case. Alright. Okay, who's gonna count us down? Same game as before. No cheating this time.
Who cheated?
Nobody cheated.
You said no cheating. Oh yeah.
So we're doing the same game. Flip the bottle, X and O.
X and O. Okay.
He's gonna put the other. You're gonna put the other.
3, 2, 1, fight.
Is there? Oh.
Is there hand involved? Because I have to be watching your hand now. Yeah? I think that one will have stayed with for his last round. If the camera was not there, it would have stayed with. It didn't stay. To flip it again, my friend. Flip it again.
It's a legal last state. It's my haters. This whole set, I have too much haters.
Do you want them to replay it? Where you did this, you landed, then you did this. You didn't even use your hand this time. You used your whole body. Your whole body. And then you are saying you stayed.
Flex, I'm a mom.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Have you no shame, woman?
So, that's the end of the segment.
So,
It's a
since
tie.
I won, you say it's a tie. It's not a tie. I won fair and square. Say it.
Number
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
not. So, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Don't
Don't
forget
forget to like, share, and drop your comments in the session.
And subscribe.
And subscribe. Yes. All right, guys. Bye. You are just always cheating. I don't like all these nonsense games. And no. Are we saying that as pointers?
No, she's asking a question. She's giving us the first.
Oh, are we
thing.
continuing just like that?
Yes, because
Okay,
we've
I
done
didn't know.
the.
I didn't know.
So
Okay.
this, then we now go straight into it.